Most men are taught a very specific strategy when a relationship fractures, the no contact rule. The advice is always the same. You pull back, you vanish, you go completely dark. The logic assumes that by cutting off communication, you create a void. That physical space is supposed to spark curiosity and eventually a sharp sense of longing in the person you walked away from. But there is a glaring error in this math. If you disappear while your mind is still fixed on her reaction, your silence is just a tactical move. It remains a response to her, not a move for yourself. You might be quiet, but you are still tethered. This kind of silence is essentially a passive-aggressive way of waiting for someone else to give you permission to feel secure. This state is better described as suppressed attachment. You haven't actually detached, you've simply hidden the symptoms. You find yourself counting the days. You white-knuckle the urge to check her social media. Every vibration of your phone brings a surge of hope that she's finally reaching out. Watch these two isolated notes. As physical distance increases, a vibrating line of energy keeps them connected. Your nervous system remains anchored to her behavior. This invisible, anxious orientation depletes your internal focus. Physical separation offers no relief because mental fixation keeps you emotionally trapped. When you are externally silent but internally loud with anticipation, you have surrendered your psychological power to the outcome of the connection. Lasting change requires moving beyond silence as a tactic and toward emotional sovereignty. Real stoicism is not emotional numbness. A disciplined man still feels disappointment and nostalgia. The distinction is that he does not allow those feelings to dictate his direction or his worth. Humans are deeply attuned to emotional shifts. If your silence is fueled by resentment or a desire to provoke a reaction, it carries a specific tension. That tension is felt through your inconsistency or the way you eventually break the silence. The alternative is becoming emotionally neutral. You remain grounded and self-directed. You stop performing growth for an audience and start practicing it for your own stability. Sovereignty means recalibrating your life because you genuinely value your own peace. You are no longer withdrawing to elicit a response. You are investing in your own path. This flowchart tracks the behavioral loop relationships operate on, a cycle of pursuit, withdrawal, silence, and reaction, feeding mutual dependency. Unplugging from this loop, a man stops interpreting her behavior as a reflection of his value, observing patterns over promises. This shift is felt externally through your lack of energetic checking. Because you are no longer waiting for her to choose you, the subconscious cues of your availability disappear. She senses that your emotional door is no longer propped open. This creates cognitive dissonance. The rhythm she was used to, the subtle pull of your attention, is gone. Your calm, grounded stability highlights her own lack of clarity, making your presence feel unreachable. Stepping off the game board entirely creates a psychological impact ignored messages cannot replicate. You have moved from tactical silence to a permanent standard shift. This internal recalibration provides a tangible reward for your own well-being. By abandoning the chase, your body finally relaxes, your sleep improves, and your thoughts slow down. You reclaim the mental space that was previously consumed by what-if scenarios. Your focus shifts from "how do I make her feel something" to a much more profound question: why was I willing to feel so little for myself? You begin reallocating your energy. The time once spent analyzing mixed signals is now invested into your purpose, your health, and your routines. The true measure of success is becoming the man who no longer abandons himself. You stop outsourcing your peace to someone else's opinion. Even if the story ends quietly and she never realizes your value, you have achieved a victory. You utilized the experience of heartbreak for personal refinement. You used the rejection to sharpen your discipline rather than allowing it to turn you bitter. Silence is often a role men play to get a result. Standards are the permanent infrastructure of a man who knows his own worth. A man who is internally anchored is difficult to shake. If she reaches out, you remain steady. If she moves on, you do not spiral. You are detached from dependency. This grounded, self-directed freedom carries a weight that a silent performance never could. You are no longer negotiating for love. You are simply living by your own standards.